Hello everyone. So today we're gonna look at this book from Marcos Matthew Mestre, Perspective. So it's Dynamize Your Narration, Your Storytelling. This is the French version, but the book is the same in English. It's the same layout, so you can find it in English. If you speak French, you can get it in French. I think it's also maybe in Spanish or Italiano. So you can find it in several languages. And this book is really good. You see, you have many helpful tips for perspective. I did a video on a book on perspective, which is covered the basics and step by step. Here it's more about storytelling, so it's very complementary and also complementary to the book Framed Ink by the same author. So there is some very technical stuff. It's not so complicated. In fact, it's just you have to think about the point of view of that you want to create, and from that image, then you know how you're going to work with your horizon line and perspective lines and grid and so on. Yeah, you see horizon line and you have your vanishing point. This is a 1 point perspective, for example. So if we are in the head of the character, that will be here, the level of the eyes, and this is what we see. So we talk about cubes, front of view, and vanishing point. So this is, yeah, here is the eye. So this is the vanishing point. So if there is a cube, what we will see is like this. And if the cube is here, then we will see it like that. In the middle is the vanishing point. So for example, if it's a window here, and the character look through the window, then we might see the window and what is inside the window. I mean, beyond. And here you change also. See, so you can get some basic reference in your mind on how you're going to work. You have to think about the eye, about the point of view, and what is the object that is looked at by the camera or the character. So I don't want to get stuck too much into those very technical stuff. You can understand through more concrete examples. So here we have a street, for example. You have the horizon line. The character is on the other side of the sidewalk. So it's not too high. It's like a basic ground level from a human perspective. For example, like this. So this is like a plane flat angle, we could say. So this is also the kind of vision you get if you look at one character from the perspective of another character. It's a little bit similar. And here they show different point of view. So here it's a little bit like a dog or a cat. So it's lower, and so we see more of the ground, and the building seems higher, and the vanishing point is lower. Horizon line also is lower. And here might be like a cat on the roof, or like a bird on the branch. so it's your higher, the horizon line is also higher, and then the objects go towards the vanishing points, and here is completely from the top, so it could be like a security camera looking down, so the vanishing point is through the floor like this, around here, and the characters also are going from top to bottom. You can try it with simple objects, you know, like a tube or a box, something. You can take pictures, you can do some basic sketches, you can do some basic sketches training, and you understand and you gain the main learning points through simple drawings. Here we see the making of, like a simple, straightforward, one point, every lines going on that point, and then you have several frames. One is for the floor, like the floor here, and then the table, and then you see you scale the height depending on the objects, and they all follow the same perspective lines. Here you have two vanishing points, so this is like a corner streets corner, or like a car, it could be a car, parked car. So you have some examples. So working with a cube is a nice simple exercise you can do. You can do also like a faraway city, like with the street, with the angle street, and you just do several buildings going in those angled streets. Here you have some practical exercise to get stuff at the right proportions. So yeah, proportional distances. So this is something more technical to get things like, for example, light posts that are every 50 meters. So you want to keep it consistent. So you can do it from intuition with your eye and do it not too bad. But if you want to be very perfectionist, then you can use methods like that. Depending on what you do, sometimes you have to be very precise. Like if you have to design a real estate model for a building, you don't want to be approximative. You want to do some very convincing work for the investors or whatever, you know. But I don't think here on this channel we are going to do this kind of stuff, but just in case. So more very practical works. So this is a solid book, you know, you have very solid exercises, technical exercises. This can be a little bit dry and boring. So if you don't like this kind of exercise, then just switch it up with some subjects you want to draw, and then it will become more fun to draw. Like you can do Maya tempo instead of this. You can do Egyptian pyramid landscape instead of this. you know. You can do a truck or a train or a bus instead of this, you know. So here we have an example with the house. So you can see the vanishing points, the 2-point perspective, one vanishing point here. So you have a solid perspective for every building of the house. You have the horizon line. Even you can also do the swimming pool on the same grid. Then you put characters for scaling. And there you go, you have a solid design for an architect. But you don't have to be perfectionist, you know, like if you want to do some fantasy. Like I recently saw the Microsoft Direct, they talk about the Fable, the game, fantasy game. And I really like the city design, and the walls are not completely straight, the roofs are a little bit curves and funky. So you can still apply perspective lines, but then you can just have imperfect lines for the buildings, and it will give more organic feeling, less dry, less boring, you know, because we don't want to draw like necessarily very stiff and perfect looking buildings. So you can be a little bit loose with your lines, as long as approximately you follow the vanishing points to get some solid building 3D feel and grounded objects. But you don't have to be stiff about it either. Here we have some storytelling angles. So this is more from the top. This is flat, like a basic angle. And this is the more like storytelling, like setting the mood. See, for interiors, you may not have the vanishing point accessible. It's like a nightmare to draw all the way to the vanishing point, so it's more like isometric. You just get some here you have, it's not completely isometric here because this is going down and this is going a little bit up, but it's just like you have to like virtually imagine from common sense what the line's angle would be according to the subject, and this you can learn pretty fast once you draw a lot. Also synthesizing objects through basic shapes like cubes also for anything. So you don't want to try to draw the chair, the armchair straightforward. You have some basic lines, even if it's just some lines, and cubes, especially in the back. Also you want to know where is the seat going, so you know where the legs will be going also when the characters sit. So here you have different examples. Multiple vanishing line. Yeah, here also you have some architecture, like using the middle and then designing the roof solidly. So here, yeah, you have different angles, different buildings with different angles. So they each have their own vanishing point. You see, this building has this vanishing point, and the other buildings, this one has this vanishing point, this one has this vanishing point, and this vanishing point is working with this one, and this one is going even further. So for example here, it's like slightly angled building faces. So here you have one, yeah, and then this one here. This one also is the same as this one. This one is flat. The vanishing point is not really necessary for this one. It would be behind. Then this one and this one, they go like this, around there. Yeah, you get the point. Yeah, same here with the modern building with many angles. Here you see the detail. So you just have to get used to work with the planes of surfaces, and understand this will give rise to one vanishing point, and this will give rise to another vanishing point, and so on and so forth. And then you can just draw some lines and get approximately accurate perspective. So here this is also like a solid way of drawing stuff accurately, to have a repeating shape through perspective that has the same size. It's like a pattern. So you may pause the video if you want to study this method. For me, I don't want to learn too much this. I prefer to use tricks, illusions. But yeah, if you want to draw stuff like that, you may have to. You may have to. Here we have a practical example with a car, like several cars parked. So if you synthesize with the blocks, you see you have these blocks for each car, and then you have an example. So I think this is the, yeah, you see the box and the vanishing point and the other car here, and they all follow this perspective. Maybe not. a lot of yeah, city is a nightmare. Or even if here for books, you have different vanishing points for different books, and you have 2-point perspective. So perspective is like something you have to learn at some point if you want to do good, solid, and complex compositions and do it well. But it doesn't have to be a nightmare. You can just remember the basics: 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, vanishing point. Remember the point of view, the horizon line, the vanishing point, and then with these fundamentals you can already do a lot. Like here also, it's multiple vanishing points, and you have the horizon line. So when you sketch, you simulate a little bit, and it's not too perfectionist, but it still work. You use volumes, basic shape, basic 3D objects, using boxes and cylinders, you know. Remember to synthesize, not to go into details and subjects particularities first. Use tubes and cubes and boxes and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is the looking at the top. Or looking down. So this is 3 points. 1, 2, 3. This is the top. And this is the 2 angles. So this is, you can see that a lot in Spider-Man. If you play Spider-Man, you can pause the game and take a screen cap, and then you can try to draw. Here's one example, not too dramatic, but still there is still the 1, 2, and 3 going up. Here you see the even some perspective with the characters also for composition. Here the sketch, and here the finished drawing. So this we enter into the storytelling about the energy, the mood of the scene you want to draw. This is inclined plane. I think we're gonna see some examples later. So this is plan incliné. So yeah, for roofs, for example, if there are several roofs, several layers of roof, you want to have a vanishing point also for the inclined planes. or repeating roofs pattern. Yeah, this is quite technical here, but you can do it a little bit intuitively, I think. Also depend how far you want to be accurate. For stairs is important, more necessary for stairs. It's a good exercise, drawing stairs from perspective. This one is pretty good exercise. So you have each step is one vanishing line going to the horizon, and the other way for the plane of the step. So this is a bit more complex here with different stairs, angles. But you see they follow the same vanishing point, just going up. So it would go like this and would still be this one. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we see here. So it's like looking down in between the stairs, like in typical chase sequence, like someone chasing the guy going up or going down, whatever, looking where the other character is. Yeah, so here the stairs are kind of flat, but it's the building perspective going down, and how do you call that, the railing that has the perspective. Here we see the example, finished example. Yeah. So here this is more about like the fable style. You still have the perspective, but you do more curvy lines, less perfect lines, but you still have the foundation, the horizon line, and the 2-point perspective going from the angles of the buildings. But just curving a little bit the lines, not being too like architect designer style. Yeah, San Francisco style street. So the buildings have to be like floors of the building have to be flat, but the angle of the view is going up. So this is you have to do both flat and angle. Curving the line. So this is for round shapes, ellipses. Yeah, you see the wheels and we call it tonneau in French. This is bucket. I don't know, I have to revise my English. Yeah, these kind of shapes, I don't do them accurately. I train myself to do ellipses, loose ellipses. But you can use this method, it's not too bad here with the lines like that. You get the middle. Yeah, I use this method to draw a motorbike once. To make the first wheel and then the second wheel and get the volume of the wheel and then the design of the motorbike. Anything with wheels basically. Yeah, you see like a car. So you have to combine square shapes and rounded shapes and round square circle shape, all kind of stuff. Very technical. Here also useful for architecture, like rounded roofs or other objects. Yeah, or some architecture also use the round shapes, or towers, you know, or yeah, some round bridges, the bridge arc or the gate arc. So you see you have a flat, then you do it another one, and then you have the people walk here, go back down there, and here maybe a river with a boat passing by, and here you do the lines for the roof. See, so you have double. Maybe we see the finished drawing here. Yeah, you see, so when you look at the flat design, looks like a paper origami, kind of like a flat fake background, and then when you use it well, then you can create the whole environment very convincing with simple straightforward techniques. And then you combine all your knowledge about drawing nature, animals, humans, the perspective, atmospheric perspective, and building perspective, like a solid perspective, you could say, and scaling the characters as they go further and further back. Yeah, so this is angled. The character is looking down, so the vanishing point is down. You see, it's the same plane as this side of the road. So this is also one trick. So you have multiple horizon line. You have one horizon line around here, maybe. It's like the car point of view, chasing car point of view. And then you have also this horizon line, maybe several others, not completely sure. Elevation, plane, and profile. So some more examples. So this is also the lens. Here they talk about the lens. So this is very technical. Great angle, focal, 50 millimeter, wide angle. So you see different perspective, different zoom, like very close, further back, even further back. Yeah, this angle we see more of the train, and this one we don't see the face of the train wagon, but we see the wheels, so we are like more immersed into the action, and here is a little bit more settled, less dramatic. And here is maybe for like very how do they call it, fish eye lens or something like that. And here talk about hand drawn sketches and hand drawn. So this is when you don't want to be like drawing like an architect and a designer. You want to do it a little bit loosely. You can pause if you want. I just go over the whole book, not too long. Here is closer to sketching. Here you see, if you do street sketching, urban sketching, it's more something like that. It's not like straight lines, but still you can get pretty accurate perspective and do a nice drawing. And you can still use all the techniques of the book, but just a little bit looser. You see some nice examples. Once you know how to identify the lines with the building, you identify the lines, you can visualize the vanishing lines and the horizon and so on, then it becomes second nature. It's become easier and easier to draw with perspective. And also objects. See, you have the vanishing point, and here for the seat. Here you see composition. So this is about the negative, the light, shadow, the dynamic, and the illustration. So you get some of the shadows, light, how to use them for the composition. I don't get it all, especially this thing, but it's still useful to study some of it. Yeah, I think it's, yeah. the objects, the curve, the main focus, the different portions of the image. So the main subjects, the secondary subjects. Alright, please like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe for more content, and see you in the next one.